Ladies, if you've ever wondered why certain men seem obsessed with women over 60, you're about to get a reality check. And let me warn you, what you're about to hear might sting, but it's the truth that most women over 60 don't want to face. These men aren't chasing you because they respect you or because they admire your wisdom. No, it's far more pathetic than you think. Before we dive in, I want you to like this video, comment with your own dating horror story, and subscribe for more brutally honest truths every week. Watch until the end, because some of what I'm about to say will change how you see men forever. Part 2. They chase you because they think you're easy. Here's the blunt truth. Some men chase women over 60 because they assume you're easy. Not in the sexual sense, but in the sense that they believe you're more compliant, more forgiving, more willing to put up with behavior younger women wouldn't tolerate. Think about it. Society has spent decades teaching women to be polite, to keep the peace, to smile even when annoyed, to not make a scene. Many older women carry that into their relationships, especially with men who are flirtatious or push boundaries. And men know this. They know that a woman over 60 has often experienced a lifetime of being told to be accommodating, to be quiet, to go along to get along, and they use that to their advantage. These men don't see you as a person with needs, opinions, or deal breakers. They see a challenge they think they can bend to their will. And the scary part? At first, it can feel flattering. They compliment you. They pursue you. They give attention that younger women might reject. It feels like admiration, like validation, like a reward for all the years of experience, wisdom, and independence you carry. But underneath the surface, it's a test. They're testing how far they can push, how much they can get away with, how little resistance you offer. Many women over 60 still believe in the old-fashioned idea of charm and courtship, and that's exactly what these men exploit. A kind word, a compliment about your appearance, even a small gesture of thoughtfulness. It all feels sincere until you realize it's a calculated strategy to see how much of yourself you're willing to surrender. And the heartbreaking truth? Some women fall into it, thinking they're being romantic or giving a chance, when in reality, they're being maneuvered by someone who sees them as a soft target rather than a partner. Recognizing this doesn't make you cynical. It makes you powerful, because once you understand the motivation behind the chase, you stop falling into the trap. Part 3. They want control, not companionship. Here's another uncomfortable reality. Many of these men aren't chasing companionship. They're chasing control. They're not interested in your life, your stories, your accomplishments. They're interested in what you'll do for them and how they can shape your behavior to suit their ego. At first, it's subtle. Maybe it's a casual remark about how you should dress, or what you should eat, or a teasing comment about your hobbies. You laugh it off. You think, oh, he's just joking, or he's playful. But these little tests are exactly how they gauge your willingness to comply. They're looking for boundaries, and their goal is to see how easily you let them cross them. It can be even more manipulative. Some will act charming, even generous, while simultaneously testing you with guilt, passive-aggressive comments, or subtle pressure. Oh, you wouldn't want to go out with your friends tonight? I thought we'd spend time together. Or, if you really cared, you'd do this for me. It's designed to make you doubt yourself, to wonder if you're being too strict or unreasonable. That's the game. They're not interested in creating balance or equality. They want the upper hand. And here's the harsh part. It's not because they're evil. It's because they've learned that this works with women over 60. Many assume you're looking for validation, that your experience has made you more trusting, and that your independence can be subtly undermined. When you realize this, the dynamic shifts entirely. You begin to see the patterns. the compliments that feel like bait, the jokes that feel controlling, the constant pressure disguised as interest. And once you see it, you can start reclaiming your power. You stop catering to the game, stop being manipulated by charm, and stop mistaking control for affection. Men who chase in this way are drawn to women over 60 because they perceive them as easier to manage than younger, less experienced women. And the moment you break free from their assumptions, you suddenly have the clarity to recognize the difference between genuine interest and shallow domination. Part 4. They're chasing an illusion, not you. Here's the most overlooked truth. Men chasing older women are often not chasing the real you. They're chasing an idea, a fantasy, a projection. They're chasing a version of you that is soft, forgiving, accommodating, predictable, and manageable. It's not your full personality, your experiences, your intelligence, your independence. They want a reflection of what they desire, and they've convinced themselves that they can get it from you. That's why so many older women feel flattered at first. The compliments feel sincere, the attention feels warm, the chase feels exciting, and for a moment, you might even think, finally, someone sees me, really sees me. But then the cracks appear. You say something assertive, set a boundary, or reveal a side of yourself that is independent, opinionated, or complex, and suddenly the excitement fades. That's because they weren't chasing the real you. They were chasing the part of you they could mold into what they wanted. Every gesture, every flirtation, every seemingly thoughtful act is part of an illusion they've built in their minds. They chase the version of you that validates them, comforts them, and boosts their ego, not the version that lives fully in reality with all its depth, complexity, and self-respect. The sad truth is that many women don't recognize this until much later. You've spent decades learning to give, to care, to nurture, and men like this exploit it, not to connect, but to reinforce their fantasy. Once you understand this, you start seeing every action, every compliment, every chase for what it really is, and that awareness is liberating. You stop confusing attention with authenticity, charm with character, and flattery with love. You stop allowing someone else's shallow desires to dictate your self-worth, and you start reclaiming your life, your choices, and your joy on your own terms. Part 5. They fear strong women. One of the most ironic and frankly sad truths is that many men chasing women over 60 are secretly terrified of strong women. Not in an obvious, I'm scared of you way, but in the subtle, almost invisible ways that reveal their insecurity. They flirt, they compliment, they pursue, but when you show independence, confidence, or assert your opinions, suddenly the energy shifts. The attention that once felt flattering becomes hesitant. The compliments stop landing with warmth. The charm begins to feel thin, forced, or even desperate. Why does this happen? Because deep down, these men are not equipped to handle equals. They want a version of you that can be admired without challenging them, that can be adored without asserting boundaries, that can be seen as lovely without demanding respect. And when you show that you are self-assured, intelligent, experienced, and fully capable of standing your ground, they feel threatened. Their ego can't handle it, so they either withdraw, become distant, or try to reassert dominance in subtle ways, mocking, minimizing your opinions, or making sly remarks meant to test your confidence. For many women over 60, this is confusing at first. You think, I'm independent, strong, and wise. That should be attractive, right? And it is, but only to the right kind of man. The wrong kind, the ones who chase for shallow reasons, can't handle it. They don't want a partner who challenges them or keeps them on their toes. They want a reflection, a comfort zone, a woman who can be managed rather than truly loved. Understanding this flips the entire dynamic. Instead of feeling flattered, you start seeing the pursuit for what it is, a combination of fear, insecurity, and desperation masked as desire. Once you realize this, you stop bending yourself to their whims, stop validating their ego, and start valuing yourself in ways they can never offer. Part 6. They're clinging to youth through you. Here's another harsh but undeniable truth. Some men chase women over 60, not because they see your worth, wisdom, or charm. They chase you to feel younger. Every compliment, every flirt, every attempt to impress you is less about you and more about their desire to reclaim a version of themselves they've lost. They want to believe they're still vibrant, still attractive, still relevant, and your age, experience, and confidence make the perfect mirror for that illusion. This is why some men act so animated and charming at first. They want validation that they're desirable, that they can still command attention, that they can still be exciting. But it's never about connection or genuine intimacy. It's about reliving past glories, recapturing moments they can no longer generate on their own. And that's where it gets particularly disheartening. While you're giving thoughtfulness, intelligence, and authenticity, they're secretly focused on how much of their youth they can see reflected in your admiration, your compliments, and your presence. The consequences? It leads to shallow relationships, fleeting attention, and disappointments disguised as romance. You might feel adored, but the reality is that the adoration isn't really for you. It's for the way you make them feel about themselves. And that's not love, ladies. That's a projection, a fantasy. And the sooner you recognize it, the sooner you can stop being a pawn in someone else's desperate attempt to hold on to youth and start choosing relationships or independence that actually respect and honor the real you. Part 7. The takeaway: reclaim your power. So, what's the ultimate lesson here, ladies? If a man is chasing you over 60, look beyond the charm, the compliments, and the attention. Ask yourself the hard questions. Is he after me, or a version of me that serves him? Is he pursuing companionship or control? Is his interest genuine, or is it ego-driven, fear-driven, or shallow? Recognizing the motivation behind the chase is the first step in reclaiming your power. Once you see it, the shift is liberating. You stop mistaking flattery for affection, attention for authenticity, or charm for character. You stop tolerating manipulation disguised as romance. You stop bending to the expectations of men who don't deserve a seat at your table. Instead, you reclaim your choices, your independence, and your self-respect. You learn to engage only with men who see you fully, not just your appearance, your kindness, or the illusion they want, but all of you, the wit, the intelligence, the history, the resilience, and the experience that make you who you are. And here's the beauty of that clarity. When you no longer chase validation from the wrong men, the right kind of attention comes naturally. You attract people who respect your boundaries, admire your strength, and love your complexity. You create relationships or enjoy independence in ways that honor your dignity, joy, and freedom. And that, ladies, is the real power of being a woman over 60, not settling for shallow affection, not tolerating manipulation, and not confusing desire with respect. You reclaim your life, your joy, and your power, and everything else falls into place around that.